Today it's time to have some more fun with the Colt Walker. I'm Dustin and you're watching Guns of the West. Lately I've had quite a few requests to do more videos with the Colt Walker, so I thought it'd be appropriate to pull mine out here and tell you a little bit about changes I've made to it, talk about the history, and of course we'll get out and shoot it. So this is the one you've seen before on the channel, but I have removed the bluing from the cylinder to make it more like the originals. I did that according to the instructions from Mark Hubbs on the Era's Gone Bullet Molds channel, and I even did a little polishing on mine with Flitz polish. I've added slick shot nipples to help with the cap jamming problem, although it still happens sometimes with heavy loads. And you'll notice probably today when we go out and shoot, heavy loads also tend to drop the loading lever on the Walker. There are fixes for that, but I've done videos also on why I don't fix that. I like to keep it historical. The slick shot nipples also are stainless steel, so they're a good match to the removed bluing that I've done here. For those who don't know, the Walker came about as a request from Samuel Walker, who had been a captain in the United States Mounted Rifles, but before that, he was in the Texas Rangers and fought the Comanches using Colt's Patterson revolver. Had some success with it, but before getting new pistols for the Mounted Rifles, wanted to see some changes made. He wanted a cylinder with chambers big enough to hold a full musket charge. He wanted it to be 44 caliber instead of 36, have a 9-inch barrel, built-in loading lever, and some other things. So he got together with Samuel Colt and they came up with the design, and in order to get the manufacturing done quickly to get those pistols out to the United States Mounted Rifles, Colt got with Eli Whitney Jr., who already had a factory, and off they went. This all was in 1847. Take a look at this picture that I got from Mark Hubbs from Era's Gone Bullet Molds of these Walker bullets. These were made with an original Walker mold from the Woolaroc Museum in Oklahoma sometime in the autumn of 1847. Now, I show you this so you can see the shape of the conical bullet. There's not much of a heel on it, and so mistakenly many soldiers would actually load these backwards into the chambers, causing dangerous pressures. It's well known that of the 1,100 Walkers that were originally made, about a third of them exploded during use. This was a big part of the reason, in addition to the fact that the steel of the time was nowhere near as strong. Now why don't we get out and do some shooting with this reproduction of the Walker? Alright, to load the Walker, let's pull the hammer to half cock. That frees up the cylinder. Our first shots will be with 40 grains of the 3FG GoX black powder. And don't worry, you'll see the max load here in a few minutes. There's my 40 grains. Now since we're shooting the big iron today, let's shoot a big bullet. That is the Colt Dragoon bullet, and you can see it's very similar to that Walker bullet that I showed you, but with a much better heel for loading into the chamber. So I'll rotate that big massive chunk of lead under the plunger, bring down my loading lever, and we'll just ram that on down, and I'll repeat the process all the way around. Now for the percussion caps, I'll be using the Remington number 10 caps as usual, putting them on with the Ted Cash snail capper. I've recommended this tool before, and there's a link in the description below where you can find one for yourself. So I'll put the cap on the nipple, and then I'll just repeat that all the way around. All right, well, we're all loaded up here. I've got some nice steel targets set up. Why don't we go see how well we can ring one of them with the Walker and those big Dragoon bullets? All right, now that was fun. This Walker really has some power. You probably saw this target was spinning all over the place, and this is no light duty target. That's 3/8 inch thick AR-500 steel. That takes some force to really move that. Well, that was 40 grains with a big Dragoon bullet. Why don't we bump it up to its maximum load of 60 grains of powder and a round ball? All right, folks, well, I've got all 6 chambers loaded up, each with 60 grains of the 3FG GoX black powder. Now, to be honest, I don't recommend this load, at least not very often. You could, even with modern steel, stress the gun out, stretch parts and things, But let's go see how it rings that steel. Well, had a couple of misses that time, forgive me for that, but the hits that I did get, it really rocks that AR-500 steel. And down below here, I'm finding examples of those round balls just flattened out to nothing after hitting that steel. Now, I am going to load the gun one more time for you, 60 grains again, just 3 shots, and fire it over the chronograph. So let's go see how much velocity and energy this thing generates with that kind of a load. According to the chronograph, the average velocity in those 3 shots was 1,230 feet per second, with a spread of 36 feet per second, and average energy delivered of 470.2 foot-pounds. For a handgun, this is impressive performance even by today's standard. It's widely believed that this was the most powerful handgun in the world until the invention of the .357 Magnum in the 1930s, and as you might be able to guess, I will be testing the Walker against the .357 Magnum in a future video. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed this new look today at the Colt Walker. Definitely one of my favorite cap and ball guns, but at the same time, I actually don't recommend this for beginners. It's very cumbersome, weighing in at about 4.6 pounds when it's unloaded, and of course even more when it's loaded. Also, it can be a little costly. It's .44 caliber, and those big chambers can really go through your powder in a hurry. So if you're a beginner, I recommend something smaller, maybe a Colt Navy or an 1860 Army. But as you build your collection, this might be something that you really want to have. Don't forget to click that like button down below and subscribe to the channel, and look in the description to see where to find me on social media. Thank you so much for watching.